Hello, what's up, guys? This is Naughty Buddy, and we are back to one of our new gameplay. And the name of the game is the first tree. So, if you are new to this channel, do ensure you hit the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell icon and smash the like button. And I'm really sorry, guys. I haven't been that active lately, and it was due to an eye infection on my left side. I really am really sorry for the delay and for not posting the games lately, but I am recovering a bit, and guys, I can now get back to my computer screen again. So really, thank you for your constant support and for keeping me really positive. So now it's time we play this game, which is known as first tree the first tree. And the story of this game is really quite touching. At least I felt that, because when I was playing in the start, I felt that it might be a bit boring, because we just need to use we just need to play with the fox. But it's it's really great. I really like the story. So let's get into this.
Are you awake? I thought I heard you get up.
Yeah, I'm awake. Sorry, I just can't sleep.
Are you thinking about him?
Yeah, a bit. Usually get back to sleep, my love. I'm fine.
No, it's okay. What else is on your mind?
I don't know, it seems weird, but I had one of the most vivid dreams of my life. I saw a fox on a snowy mountain, just looking confused and worried. Those eyes. I can't get those eyes out of my head. She was running in the windy snow, looking for something.
Do you think it has to do with you and what's been going on?
I don't know. It was just a dream, Rachel. They're not meant to make sense. A lot's happened the past couple days, that's all.
Well, if you're not going to sleep anyway, you should tell me. I want to hear.
All right.
So guys, here there are two characters which are narrating the story, or you can say just discussing about their dreams. One is a Joseph, who was having such dream, and the other one is Rachel, who is supposed, or who happens to be his wife.
So, not far
So
from her
now,
home, she followed
all right,
that path to something
let's hear them out.
unexpected.
So basically, this fox is trying to find uh, her family, like each and every member of their family, of her
She couldn't
family.
stay, though. She had to find her other two children.
Exactly,
So
like
she took
how,
that
like
path.
the way he's saying.
She followed it towards something ancient. Something with answers.
So I guess this was a sort of trailer of the game. Now the actual game begins. So now let's keep going and see what's holding next for us.
The fox looked high and low, searching for any sign of her cubs. Points of light showed the way to this ancient tree.
I guess we
It
need to
was as
follow
if each
this
one had a
star
story to
thingy.
tell, all their own. The land was trying to tell my story, too. I felt like I was right behind her the whole time.
The graphic of the game is still better, I guess. But it's an 3-year-old game, or maybe it's a 4-year-old game. I guess, yeah, it's a 4-year-old game. The game was officially released on PC on 2017. So, yep, that's the thing. And on my RTX 3070, I was getting around 300 and above FPS. So, yep, exactly, it's great. And I really like the soundtrack of the game. Like it feels, I just don't know, it makes you feel relaxed and everything. Okay, how do I get up here? Oh, yep. Oh no. Finally. Alright. Let's go. Okay, I guess I have to go straight up there. I can see there is another clue or some sort of task for me.
Do you remember what my dad did for a living?
Wasn't he like a lumberjack?
That's one way of putting it. If wood was a canvas, then a carving knife was his paintbrush. Even after working a 50-hour week, even after his hands were more splinters than skin, he would bring home the nicest piece of Alaskan weeping cedar and make me toys. That wooden train was the first toy I can remember, and I loved it. I just knew from a young age I was going to be a lumberjack, like my father.
So I guess we completed the first level of the game, and now it's the second one. So let's see.
My teenage years were full of sketching, angst, and trouble. I wasn't popular or unpopular. Maybe just forgettable. I guess that gave me a sense of freedom. So I hung out with crazy kids, doing crazy things, even though I mostly just watched the chaos ensue. We did it all. Put fireworks in mailboxes, hide roadkill in people's garages, break windows of the barber shop in Anchorage. My dad was furious, but he was so busy working he couldn't do much to stop me from going out.
I think being an adult means there's no one to stop you making hard decisions. He had to make a living, and he couldn't be in two places at once.
Yeah, I realize that now. But at the time, I was sure he was more interested in growing his business than what was going on with me. working another late night, and my friends were over, saying how bored they were and how they had come all the way out to my house for nothing. One of them mentioned how that old, ugly beyond belief truck was still in the garage, and how we should take it for a spin. I was only 15, so I kind of fought it for a while. The next thing I knew, we were careening around the mountain path, rocks spitting onto the sides of the cliff, while my dad's cringeworthy bluegrass blared out the speakers. I drove while my friends were in the back of that yellow and purple truck, throwing beer bottles and trash at anything remotely interesting. Felt like I was soaring in the air with borrowed wings. But all good things have endings. A cop outside of Eagle River pulled us over after he saw us send a bottle rocket into someone's yard. What followed was a long night of talking to disappointed adults and feeling smaller than ever. After he drove me home from the police station, I blew up at him, saying how I never wanted to be like him, how I was going to be someone and leave that hick icebox for good. He just looked forward at the road with tired eyes. I took out that bluegrass tape from the cassette deck and chucked it out the window. In my sage teenage wisdom, I thought I had proved the ultimate point, but my dad had a different idea. He slammed the brakes, slowly bowed his head while gripping the steering wheel, and finally looked at me. All he said, like it was a polite request, was, "Make this right." I sat there in silence, fuming, but I eventually got out and combed every square inch of the woods, muttering profanity after profanity. I found it 30 minutes later, near a small waterfall off the road. I went back to the truck, put the wet tape back in, and sure enough it worked. We didn't speak another word to each other the rest of the night.
Wow, I knew you were a crazy teenager, but
It's hard to believe, isn't it? Surprises me too. It's like I didn't really know who that kid was back then. I bet my dad thought the same thing over and over. It's almost like he was saying, "Make this right," to himself, more than to me.
Oh man, I'm just trying really hard to climb up there, but I guess I will just use the butterflies to do a high jump, but I'm not sure if it's gonna work. Like I don't know. Let me collect this star from here. Okay, so far we have 31 stars, and I really wonder what exactly that would mean by the end of this game. Maybe this is some sort of just a normal point, or just a normal you can say clue or guide for us to follow the track. Maybe, who knows. Or Alright, at this point I'm really thinking I should just let it go and I should just move forward, but I will just try it for a few more times before heading straight ahead for progressing the game, because I just want to collect the stars from the above.
My friends would laugh about that night and talk about how crazy it was, and I laughed along, pretending it didn't bother me. But it did. I imagined my friends growing old in the bush, unable to find that thrill in those godforsaken ice fields. It's like those mountains were a literal wall, keeping me from leaving, where all I would have to look forward to are lumber yards and evening beers. I had to climb over. That was my only goal for a long time. If there was some way I could take my love of drawing and turn it into a way of escape, nothing would make me happier. I wanted to create instead of tearing trees down. I wanted to move to the lower 48, not because I hated it there in Alaska, but I hated the idea of it. It's like all of that spite inside me had created this monster which followed me around my whole teenage years. I put so much energy into doing what others didn't expect of me. Why did I do that?
There's one fact you're forgetting, though. If you didn't have that fire in you, we probably would have never met.
You're absolutely right. Maybe the destination is all that matters in the end. But then why am I awake? Why am I seeing this fox go on her journey? And why can't I stop thinking about my dad?
So I guess now we are on level 3. We completed the first mission and the second mission on the level. Now it's time for a third level. So let's keep going ahead. So far I really like the story. The father and son chemistry was quite good, I guess. I mean, it's a bit usual story, like usually the teenagers are like that. So yep, I really like it though. And the fact that this fox is
Even at my
representing
most
that
distant,
guy is
at the
totally
times when I
insane.
detested him the most, he kept reaching out. For a year straight, he asked me every week when we were going camping. I thought he was just dense. Eventually, to shut him up, I agreed. We carried out the worn lawn chairs from the garage and set up a cinder block campfire at the site we'd always used behind the house. We walked down the mountain path, talking in the warm sunshine we only got a couple months of the year. Those 3 obsidian rocks shimmered alongside the shore, almost like sparklers pressed against a dark window. I'll never forget that wet stone on my feet, or how those massive mountains looked even bigger in the lake's reflection. I felt small, but grateful. As the sun set, my dad found something I hadn't seen for a long time. The tree where I'd made my first carving when I was 6. I hadn't even carved it. My dad had helped me, but I still called it my tree. Something about seeing my name there made me open up, and we talked about everything that night in that old camouflage tent. I told him how much I loved sketching and design, and how it would be a dream to study architecture in Seattle. I told him how I didn't get along with my friends much anymore, but that I didn't mind being alone. He told me he was there for me, and he joked that if all he had to do was write my name on a tree to finally get me to talk, he would have left me carved logs with novels on them in front of my room every morning. I don't know why it took me that long to realize it, but it was then I knew how much he had sacrificed for me. On our property, there were old abandoned pieces of a shed and car long left unused. I used to ask him all the time who those people were that left all this junk, and I'm sure he got so tired of hearing it that he made up some elaborate stories how a brown bear ate them and haunted the woods afterwards. What's funny is I think it made those people seem more real, growing up thinking they were still hanging out like they couldn't say goodbye. I used to tell my friends how I could swear I saw spirits move near the water, and that always freaked them out. I guess it didn't bother me, because the way I saw it, they were normal people with old cars and sheds, just trying to figure out how to survive and be happy in the middle of nowhere. It was a cool thought that they didn't want to leave, but I was a weird kid.
Well, you had good company since those ghosts like living in a place where they were brutally devoured.
of stuff in his free time. If he wasn't watching fly fishing or reading Tom Clancy novels, he was carving something. He made tons of birdhouses. Not that he was into bird watching, but I think he really missed working and adding on to the home. If he couldn't afford the time to build onto our own house, he would have to settle
if I don't manage to find any sort of exit or a way here, then I have to
nearby, unfazed, like nothing was wrong. My dad is dead, and he's never coming back, Rachel. I can tell you these stories, but I can never reminisce with him again. He can never hold a grandchild that we'll probably never be able to have. I can never talk to him again, and I'll never be able to say I'm sorry for everything. I need to go to bed. I just can't talk about this anymore. Good night.
Alright guys, so I guess we have completed a level 3 of this the game, and now it's time for the level 4, and we are in night
Joseph,
time right now.
You
and
can't go
working
to
on
sleep
a
feeling
walkthrough.
like this. I'm sorry for everything, and I know you need space, but I'm here for you. You don't need to feel so lost. Joseph, have I ever told you what my mother was like? You know what it's like not to have a mom at home. And you know how hard that made my childhood. What helped me was watching the birds in the morning before the school bus came. I thought that my mother was one of those birds, and it made me want to be free like her. My mom taught me how to fold origami cranes while she was in the hospital. So I told myself I would fold one every day until I could fly myself. I think we both have always loved animals, and for me that love started with a dog. Sometimes this Rottweiler would come up to our property line and wait at the fence for me, but only once in a while. I was sure to check every day immediately after school, and it usually ended in disappointment. I would even steal money from my passed out dad just so I could buy these off-brand dog biscuits. Even when she did stop by, she never went beyond the fence. Why was she so scared? I think my dad was the opposite of your dad in almost every way, except he was in the military as well. He coped with alcohol of every kind. The trailer started falling apart, he got angry, and I withdrew. More and more I became the weird, quiet kid who made lots of origami birds and carried dog biscuits around. I think we were pretty similar when it came to being the weird kids. And that same sincerity in college was one of the reasons I was so drawn to you. Life got worse and worse, and at one point, I really didn't think I could survive another day with my soul still intact. I had no real friends, let alone neighbors, since we lived in the middle of nowhere. I should have talked to my teacher, but I was scared what he would do if he found out. As I waited for the school bus one morning, I walked around until I found something in an abandoned shed. Something I can't put into words. I summoned courage I didn't know I had, and I broke into my dad's room and found the key to the shed where he had locked my bike. I'll never forget that feeling. The wind rushing by my ears as the sun rose over fields of wheat. I was flying for the first time. I biked as far as my legs could take me until I found a house that felt friendly, and that felt like home. Those strangers helped me in so many ways. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have found my foster family. And if it wasn't for my parents, I wouldn't have met you. You have strength, Joseph, and you're not as alone as you think.
It's all just so pointless. Just waiting for life to happen. It's like having the home I always wanted is cursed out of my reach. The thought of being a parent myself. How could I do that when I couldn't even be a good son? I'm sorry. I know what you're saying. I just don't know how things will work out. These quiet hours will turn into years. We'll wonder which roads passed us by.
Then we'll forge a new road together. Besides, I discovered for myself that one fateful morning where any hopeful road leads to. There may be thorns and mist, but it always leads to the same thing.
And what's that?
Family.
I'm so glad that you're part of my family, Rachel.
And I'm glad you're part of mine.
Well, this story is really, really touching. I don't know, like, I just feel like, wow. Both of their stories are really great, like the Joseph one and as well as Rachel one. I just don't know. Like, they were quite bit similar, a bit, not a lot, but kind of bit. And I got a feeling that we are quite close to our end of the level 4 mission, because I just got a feeling maybe there's still time though, I'm not sure. So let's follow this part and see where it takes us to. Okay, I can see lightning there. Maybe it's time for another clue. Okay, they are stars. Great. So far we have gathered like 78, almost 80 and above. Alright. We need to climb up. Alright, so we have completed the level 4 of the first tree, and I
Fox
guess
knew her
this is
last
the level
cub would be waiting
5.
for her at the first tree. She was almost there. The rain cascaded onto the Jade Valley where the
Alright,
entrance to the
time
tree
for
was.
a huge jump again.
Life was
Wow.
protected there, because that's where life
Okay,
began.
I'm still alive. Let's get going.
It was now only a mother and a daughter left. Items from my life still dotted the ground as she moved closer to her destination and destiny. At the end of high school, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Drive. I looked into the best architecture schools on the West Coast, then got a dose of reality when looking at other students' portfolios and the high cost of tuition. I still wanted to be something, to be the next Alvaro Siza, and to make those thousands of sketches worth something in my grand history. But now even an internship sounds impossible. Caesar helped me understand how essential emotion is in architecture, and he also said light is the real composer of space. I like to think these glints of light, like not finding a job or even a strange dream about a fox, are something I should be thankful for, even if the illuminated space is something I'm less than comfortable with. My dad was super supportive with my college plans, to a point. Things were okay until this terrible accident happened. I guess a forklift flipped over due to a bad axle, and it crushed one of the workers there. My dad didn't eat for days, even though he wasn't directly involved. It devastated him. Not only did it hurt the business, but it just freaked him out. He would talk in his sleep, muttering things about firing people and saying sorry. One fateful day he approached me, said that since my school search wasn't going well, I should finally be a man and take over the family business. He said one day he was going to die, and that all of his work, sacrifice, and even that man's life would be wasted in vain. I just lost it. Teenage me just exploded at the thought. I screwed up. I said things I shouldn't have. He was having a crisis, and I pretty much spit in his face.
Was that the last time you talked to him?
No, I called on holidays, and he would call on my birthday. I guess we acted like nothing ever happened, which was stupid. Didn't want to ask about his lumberyard, and I'm sure he didn't want to ask about my job search. I never went back and visited. I think the last conversation we had was about what movies we had seen and what exactly a best boy is in the credits. I thought he would be here so much longer.
Okay, so I guess we have reached our destination, and that's the first tree the game is all about. Let's skip ahead and let's get going. Maybe once we reach there, we will get some sort of a task to do. Oh, come on, Foxy. You really need to hurry up. Oh man, she's sad. Oh man, I just feel bad. I just don't know. Alright, we are almost there. Okay, what's happening now? Oh, did we completed the game? Wow. Okay, the first tree awakens and gently asks, one last message the fox want to tell her children. She replies back and says, oh, now I get it. The 99, the star which we collected was a character which we can type in here. Okay then, I will. I will always be with you. All you have to do is just close your eyes and see my name. I guess that's the best message. Alright guys, so it seems that we have completed a level 5 mission on the first tree, and now we are on the level 6, and now I'm going to play as Joseph as my character. So yep, there is Rachel, she is asleep. So I guess I need to find the doors, or I need to check the windows and try to find a way out. Maybe that's what we have to do. So I'm not sure where exactly I have to go. Like, am I supposed to go or cross the bridge, or I guess I just need to head backward and find another way out. So I will just head backward and see. You know, the game which don't have a map, they are just like an adventurous game. You just need to figure out how exactly you would go ahead. It's like treasure hunting but without map. Oh my god, it's so fun. So guys, I've been thinking that I should as well make a gameplay videos on Tomb Raider. I'm not sure, but if you guys let me know in the comment or on the live chat which is going on right now, maybe then it would be great, because I really planning to make a walkthrough on Tomb Raider series as well, along with my Batman videos which will be going ahead. So yep, I guess there's a way here. Oh, there is a tent here. Maybe this is a place where Joseph goes in, where he is a bit upset or sad.
What the hell?
Wow, is that a fox? Yep, that's the fox. That's the fox that Joseph was having dream of. Oh my, so that's the first tree. Wow. Okay. I can see there's something written on the tree. Maybe the. Let's keep fine. Let's keep going. I wonder if that's the thing which I wrote there. Maybe I don't know. It might be that. It might be something else. Okay. No matter how bad the road travel gets, you must always keep your head held high and keep moving. Oh man, wow, the fox and children. Wow. I guess this is what it calls a happy ending. What do you think about it? Let me know down in the comment and the live chat which is going on, I guess. Really, this game was. It was looking that it might be a bit boring, but really, this game was awesome. I'm really sad that this game is only like 1 hour 25 minutes long, and that's the only reason I'm posting a full game of it. If it was any big or if it was any further, I would have just made a parts of this video so you guys could have enjoyed it one part by part. But with this, I guess we have completed the entire game of the first tree, and I really hope that you like this video. And if you did, then do ensure you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell icon. And if you haven't checked my other gameplays or the playlist of the videos yet, you can do so by checking on the top red eye icon and on the end screen. So I really hope guys you enjoyed this gameplay walkthrough, and if you have any suggestion or if you have any advice or any sort of feedback, you can always do that by joining my Discord server. The link of the Discord server is down in the description. Do ensure you join there. We are about to reach 230 subscribers. I'm like 2 or 3 subscribers away from it, and as soon as we reach our 250 subscribers and 300 subscribers to be more exact, we will be doing another giveaway, and it could be nitro or maybe a Discord role giveaway, who knows. So do ensure you join it. I will see you in the next video, which will be really soon. So see ya.